What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. Today, I believe we're on like day 11. I don't know. It's been a rough weekend. And this video, I pretty much had to put together last minute. For those of you that saw my day 10 video, I apologize for the audio in the beginning of the video. I did not have time to really proofread that video before I uploaded it because my fur baby needed to go to the emergency vet. We thought our dog was having a stroke, so we pretty much aborted any of the editing, uploaded and left. And it was on a Sunday, and it was an all-day process. So turns out our dog did not have a stroke, but she's almost 14 years old, and she's suffering from, this is the name of whatever it's called. I don't know how to even say that, something vestibular disease or something like that. But anyways, there's only a couple reasons why the dog would have this, and the only thing we can't rule out is some type of a brain tumor. Granted that she's almost 14 years old, like next month she'll be turning 14. So age, cancer in big dogs is pretty common, so we are grateful we've gotten this much time with her. So that there would be no treatment, there'd just be a lot of testing, and at this point we wouldn't have done anything anyways had it been a brain tumor. It's about quality of life, hospice type care at this point for her, being that she is a senior dog. So, but there is a chance that she's going to recover from it if it's not a tumor. So, but there's no real answer unless we put her through a bunch of testing. So, and with that testing, even then we would not choose to do surgery on a 14-year-old dog. So, it's about quality of life for us. When you're a dog in our family, a dog or a cat, you're a pack member, you're a family member. So, but anyway, she has a slight tilt to her head now, where she was completely fine 2 days ago. That doesn't want me to open the door, so I'm gonna have to squeeze out here. Good thing I lost 130 pounds. This is my mom's dog, Dakota, who is also dying from cancer, only her cancer is a tumor in her back leg, so we're gonna go in a second. There she is. Sorry, the kids threw the chair down. Stinking kids. So she's walking with a slight, she's crooked, but she's still beautiful. Oh, she's a Belgian Groendael Shepherd. If anybody was curious what type of dog she is, she basically looks like a black wolf. But she's a Belgian Shepherd Groendael. And she's very wobbly, and her head seems to just have a slight tilt now to the other side. So we'll see. Hi, are you okay? Oh, she's such a good girl. We're just not coming to terms with this whole situation because she's the last of our dogs before we had kids. So she's our last dog left. Can you do it? Come on. Come on. Can you do it? Nope. All right, let's go in the house. Hi, look at your head's tilt crooked now. But she's beautiful. She's beautiful. But she's confused. She's like, what's going on? So anyways, that's the update on Coley. Alrighty, it's lunchtime, and today's lunch is gonna be yummy. There's two options to make this lunch. First off, I originally planned this recipe out to use the keto bread that we've been using. However, curiosity got the best of me, and I was browsing internet and found keto smart buns. Although pricey, reviews were awesome. So it claims no carbs, and it's basically a hamburger bun. So we're gonna make our turkey sandwich and use this bun, and I'll give you a review if it's worth it or not. I'm interested. But here's what they look like. So my turkey sandwich is gonna have this as its bun today. However, if it sucks, I will, obviously it's a tried and true recipe using the keto bread that we've been using for the past couple of days. But there's 63 calories in one of these buns. And the ingredients are basically oat fiber, eggs, erythritol, whey protein powder. There's luckily 9 grams of protein. That's honestly what caught my attention because you know me, I like to hit my keto macros and specifically my protein. So anyways, we're gonna cut this in half and we're gonna try it. But if this is not something that's actually good, you can, for one, know to save your money. And two, the tried and true keto bread that I have been using, ooh, it's already cut even, wow. But you would use that one instead. So while I have it out here, we're gonna go ahead and measure the nuts. Today's side or side dish is gonna be avocado and nuts. So I have my roasted pecans that I make, and most importantly, you're gonna wanna measure your nuts. As funny as that sounds, these are very calorie dense and they will add up quick. So we're looking for 1 ounce or 28 grams. And I had too much, so I have to take some out. All right, so if you're curious what an ounce of nut looks like, I'll put it in my hand. It's essentially a handful. That's an ounce of nuts. That's the serving size. So we're gonna put it back in there so it's pretty. And next we're gonna make our sandwich. So today I am using, because I have my fats from my nuts and fats from my avocado, I don't wanna overdo it and add mayonnaise as well. So a great way to add flavor without adding too much in your calories is using yellow mustard. So we're gonna go ahead and put some yellow mustard on first. And I'm gonna put it on the top. And I like lots of mustard, so. And then the next thing is, being that my food is on my scale, I'm gonna zero it out, and then we're gonna look for 5 ounces of sliced turkey. This is Boar's Head. It's my go-to brand. It doesn't have any sugar, no filler, no soy, just real clean ingredients. So I'm gonna look for 5 ounces of turkey, and I will judge how big that is. I can always put some on the side, but I don't want my sandwich too massive. So we're gonna show you what a proper serving size of sliced lunch meat looks like on a sandwich. So we're at 2.5 already, so it's adding up quick. Three. So how many slices is gonna depend on how thick your slices are. So roughly, we're sitting at 5 ounces on the money right here. So that's 5 ounces. And if you want to know the grams conversion, 5 ounces is 142 grams. So I know we have folks that are not from the US watching, if that helps you at all. And then I'm going to put 1 slice of American cheese. This is where you would want to do maybe a goat cheese or a Swiss provolone, a cheddar, something like that. There's my slice of cheese. And then I'm gonna cut up an avocado and put that on the side. But you easily could put that on top, but I'm just looking for the full sandwich effect. So I'm gonna do a side of avocado slices. So, and one way to tell if your avocado is gonna be ripe or not is touch bottom and top, and if it's squishy, you're good to go, it's ripe. If it's hard and you can't do that, put it on the counter for a couple of days, it's not ready. All right, let's see, drum roll, and she's perfect. So I'm just gonna use this one because the pit's already out, and we're gonna slice it up. And that will be what we have today. And then the true taste test coming up in a minute. Thank you. Okay, now that I have my avocado, it looks like this is a pretty large avocado, so we're gonna get a measurement so I don't go over. It's easy to go over. So right here is 92 grams or 3¼ ounces of Hass avocado. So I typically only do about 2. So being that these are real big slices, I'm just gonna split this. And another little guy right here. All right, so we're at 1 5/8. There we go. So we're looking for about 2 ounces. All right, and now I'm gonna cut the sandwich and we're gonna do a taste test. Mom's stealing some avocado off to the side. All right, now look at that. Now the true taste test if this is any good or not. Wow.
Good.
Yep, these are good. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you at the next one. Okay, and one thing I want to show you real quick before my battery dies on this camera is my mom has a horrible Lay's chip habit. She loves potato chips. That's her crutch. Mine's French fries, and sweets, hers are potato chips. So I was at Sprouts shopping for the groceries this week, and let me show you what we have come up with. You know how I'm always stressing those protein macros. Well, I found basically protein chips. One serving of these chips has 19 grams of protein, and they're sure a heck of a lot better than a Lay's potato chip. So my mom went and portioned inside there the potato chips in 2 serving sizes. So there's 4 servings in that one container. So what do you think, Mom?
I'm going to have to adjust, but I like that they have protein in them. And I think that's what I got to adjust to because they're kind of grainy, but the taste is there. I got to get used to the party in my mouth. I think I can do it.
But it's a way to get your protein in, and you struggle with that. And also maybe something to help you with your potato chip situation.
Don't say that word. I'm trying to forget what it is.
Alrighty, let's get back to today's video. Alrighty, it's now dinner time, and tonight's dinner is super easy. I am making meatloaf croutons, which uses the meatloaf from yesterday, all the leftovers. So when you make a meatloaf, or if I make a meatloaf, I typically double the recipe. I made enough meatloaf yesterday in my video to show you what to do with the leftovers. So you might have been wondering, why are we having so much meatloaf? Well, this is why. This is how you reuse your meatloaf. So I have 6 ounces here of meatloaf that I made from yesterday, and we're gonna just dice it up. And we're just gonna dice it up into about 1-inch size cubes. Or I should say, like a crouton shape. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll meet you back here when it's time for the next step. And now that we have 1-inch size, roughly, croutons, we're gonna take a tablespoon of butter, and we're going to basically saute up our meatloaf into croutons. So this is something that you could do with any type of leftover, not just a meatloaf, but it's a way to reinvent them so you don't go to waste. I have a hard time using up my leftovers, so I have to get creative like this, or I toss it and throw it away, which is so horrible. So my mom actually came up with this recipe, and I've been doing it ever since. But you're gonna put the meatloaf crouton in the bottom of the bowl in your fry pan here, and let the butter coat the outside. And not only will this cook them back up, but they will also be nice and tender, and we're looking for a char on the outside, just a little crunch. So just basically leave them alone and come back and flip them once or twice, and they'll be ready. So I'll meet you back here when these are ready to flip. All right, we're gonna make the homemade ranch dressing. It's super easy. You can pick whatever mayonnaise you want. For this recipe, I'm gonna use an avocado mayo. However, to be honest, as much as it's hard to say, taste-wise, obviously Hellmann's, Duke's taste better in my opinion. But I'm trying to eat, it's a cleaner option to have an avocado mayo, so I do try to make that effort. But if you wanna go by actual taste, Hellmann's is fine. If you have Hellmann's or Duke's, it's just made with soybean oil and canola oil, so it's not a real clean ingredient, but it still will work just fine. You do you. So anyways, we're gonna start off with a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. I've pre-measured it out. Get all that out of there. This is such an easy recipe because you can keep this in the fridge if you can get it to last a week. In this house, a week is maximum. So I've never tried to store this longer than a week because we're usually out. But it's a small enough recipe that's not gonna hog up a ton of room in your fridge. Use this for any recipe that calls for ranch dressing, or use this recipe as a dip, or on salads. It's the way I get my kids to eat my vegetables, or their vegetables. My kids will eat broccoli willingly, they will eat cauliflower willingly, and if I give them a little ranch to dip it in, it guarantees they will eat their veggies. So just a little mom hack right there. So anyways, the next thing, this is an optional ingredient. It's buttermilk powder, and yes, it's higher in carbs. There's 4 carbs in 1 tablespoon, but I'm making at least 10 to 14 tablespoons, 10 to 14 servings of ranch. So it really makes the buttermilk powder's impact on the macros insignificant. But it does taste fine without the buttermilk powder. But if you really want this ranch dressing to blow your socks off, add the buttermilk powder. It does make a difference in the taste in a good way. So that was, and I'm also gonna put this link for all the ingredients. The exact amounts will be in the description box below. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do onion powder. So I do half teaspoon. Ooh, I'm getting low on my onion powder here. Half teaspoon onion, half teaspoon garlic. And you can also, if you don't want quite so much of a robust flavor, you can back that off to 1/4 teaspoon, and it still is gonna work out just fine. But that's how your taste, what really blows your socks off. That's what matters. So we have dried chives here. That's 1 teaspoon. And the same thing goes for dill. Whew. See, you can tell how much I make this recipe because I'm almost out of all my dill and chives. And then you're definitely gonna want salt and pepper. So the first one, we got pepper, and we got salt, and I'm gonna do a half teaspoon of salt. And it's gonna be, per taste. You may want less, and that's why making your own ranch will satisfy your own needs. Again, heavy cream is gonna make this thick. You could do heavy cream and then splash a little bit of a nut milk, like an unsweetened almond milk or something, just to thin it out, or switch to maybe a regular milk. But it will make it somewhat thicker, but I like a thick ranch. You'll see, I'll show you the actual consistency when we have this all together. But again, if you are dairy free, use a nut milk that tastes, I've made this with almond milk and it tastes just as good, I promise. And then the star of the show, for all the health benefits of apple cider vinegar, this is gonna give it that tang. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, feel free to use white vinegar or even lemon juice. And we're gonna do 2 teaspoons. I'm not afraid of the tang, so I do 2 teaspoons. If it's too much for you, put 1 teaspoon in first and then see if you want to add the 2nd teaspoon. But I think it's perfect the way I just showed you. So let me get a whisk. All right, so we're gonna mix this all up. And it's appropriate always to do a taste test. You may want to add something, at the end. You may like it as is. I think it's perfect as is, but you may want it thinner. My mom likes a thinner ranch. I like a thicker ranch. So sometimes when I know she's coming over, or I'm making something that we're gonna have ranch with, I'll just thin it out and throw some unsweetened almond milk in it, and it tastes fantastic. If you don't want to make a homemade ranch, just check the ingredients in the back of the bottle. But here's the thickness of the ranch. So if you want it thinner than that, like I said, add some nut milk, add some cream, add a little milk. And now at this point, we're gonna take some type of storage device and put it in here. I will either use a mason jar, or I recently found this little gadget here. And I will store it in my fridge. I've even put cellophane over the top of this. I typically will use a mason jar, but I really like this container because it's been working out really easy. Plus you can see it takes up less room, it's skinnier. But store this in the fridge. I've had it in there for up to a week before. We typically go through it that quickly, so how long you could actually store it will depend on how fast or how big your family is. But it's a tried and true recipe, and it's so easy. And if you're curious about a serving size, I would do 1 tablespoon of the ranch. See how it works. Like if you have a salad, put a tablespoon in there, and then if you still look like you need more, add a 2nd tablespoon. But I usually put 2 tablespoons in my large salads. So just as a rule of thumb, or 28 grams. So anyways, let's go on to the next step. All right, now that we have cooked up the meatloaf croutons, I was going to assemble my salad, which was what's on tonight's menu, but my bag of salad mix has spoiled. So we're going to change plans, and I thought, you know what, instead of freaking out, let's show you what I would do on the fly if something like this happened. So even though the bag mix isn't expired for another couple of days, I don't know what happened, but it's gross, and I don't play around with raw lettuce. So anyways, instead of making a salad, we're going to do a bunch of finger food. So we have the leftover avocado from lunch today, which was around 2 ounces. I have 1 ounce of macadamia nuts. I got them from Costco. I didn't actually make these ones, but macadamia nuts are also very healthy, and these are made with sea salt. And instead of making a salad and using the ranch dressing that we made, we're gonna use my sugar-free ketchup. So I'm gonna measure out a tablespoon of the sugar-free ketchup. And I'm also hard boiling an egg, which was the original plan anyways. But I'm looking for 22 grams or a tablespoon. And we're at 23 grams of sugar-free ketchup. And so now that the meatloaf croutons are ready, there's a nice crunch on the outside of them. They are so yummy. Okay, so we put the meatloaf croutons in there, and we're just gonna put the hard-boiled egg, which was gonna get chopped up and put on my salad, is gonna be eaten this way instead. All right, that is my dinner. We have a hard-boiled egg, 1 ounce of macadamia nuts, 2 ounces of avocado, and 6 ounces of meatloaf. And I'm gonna use a little bit of the sugar-free ketchup to dip my meatloaf in. There it is, winner, winner. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna do macros next. We're gonna do a screenshot today, and then we will see you tomorrow at day 12. I'm Jess, you're watching Keto Rewind. Okay, so we have the macros for today. For lunch, I had my roasted pecans that I've made myself. So again, I have a serving of that, a recipe of that already made up so that it makes it real easy to log. I had the Smart Bun, which I do suggest. Obviously, if you don't have the Smart Bun, use the keto bread that we've been making. And then I had a slice of American cheese, 5 ounces of boar's head turkey, and 2 ounces of Hass avocado. And for dinner, I had my meatloaf recipe that is left over from yesterday, so that was already logged. So all I had to do is I had another serving. I had a hard-boiled egg, tablespoon of sugar-free ketchup, another one of my recipes that everything's already been logged. Makes it so easy. And then I had 1 ounce of macadamia nuts and the leftover 2 ounces of that Hass avocado for a grand total of 9 net carbs and 105 grams of my 119 grams of fat. 102, I'm a little over in protein, which I'm okay with. And my total overall calories for the day was 1441. Now I didn't have, because I'm dealing with my poor dog right now, I did not even remember to make a coffee. So, which is okay, because looking at my macros, I wouldn't have really had room for it had I not gone for a walk. And I did not walk today. So it worked out. So anyways, that's the macros for today. See you tomorrow.